Before we get into this next video, make sure that you're aware that we have a contest where you can enter to win up to $20,000. All you got to do is go to the TroyKearnsChannel.com, enter to win, and make sure you text the number below. Troy Kerr is bringing it to you from our Las Vegas studio. I've got a good friend of mine and our SEO specialist, Jack Kim, with me from Digital Uptrend. Jack Kim is probably one of the smartest guys that I have ever met in terms of the SEO space. I met Jack about over almost 2 years ago. I was looking for somebody to build out my website for a towing company I have, and I got this ad I put out on Upwork, right? Upwork is this place where you can go and find people. And so I put an ad, I said, I'm looking for an SEO guy, and I had all these people apply, and this guy puts a video of him breaking down my website, why it's wrong, what I need to do, and I really thought to myself, did this guy just figure out a way to like apply to everything with like a bot? And it turns out Jack's a real guy, and he actually is a hardworking dude. Jack, welcome. Thanks for being here, dude.
Hey, thanks for that in the intro. Yeah, man. Glad to be here. Yeah, it's been a long 2 years, a lot of changes over the years, but definitely back then when I saw the Upwork post that you made for one of your businesses, and it was something, I will have to say that it wasn't a special treatment just for you.
Yeah.
It was just something that I generally did for those posts where I could maybe check out the website and provide some value to the person that might kind of respond, because I know, and I'm sure as anyone else that's been on Upwork or you've used it to either provide a service or to post a service that you need help with, you get bombarded with tons of people that kind of reach out and say that they can help you with X, Y, and Z, and I wanted to stand out from the crowd in that sense, and I knew that most other people weren't willing to record a video, a 10-20 minute video, just going through the website and analyzing it and really showing kind of what you can do for them and breaking it down. Yeah, the knowledge. And so whatever I could do to kind of stand out from the crowd, I was willing to do. And so, hey, and then here we are 2 years down the line, and been able to get to know you better and stuff. And so. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, so let me give you like a long history of my background with SEO guys. Like, I got a guy in Miami that built my website for my real estate site, ripped me off for about $15,000. I had several other guys build websites, none of them did anything. I hired guys on Upwork, never did anything. Jack is the real deal. He shows underneath the hood, and that's what he's going to show the audience, underneath the hood, about how SEO, if you're in business, and how does this relate to real estate? Why should you be watching this if you're watching my channel? If you're trying to get deals and you're trying to buy directly from home buyers who are looking to sell, that's what Jack and I are working on right now. You need to be able to capture them, because most people are online looking for things these days. So if you're in business, you need a website. If you have a website, you need SEO. So we're gonna dive right into things. I'm gonna ask Jack a bunch of questions. And Jack, you told me right before we started here that your whole goal in this interview is to provide what?
Yeah, provide value to your viewers. It's absolutely.
So he's gonna
open book.
Yeah, so he's an open book, and that's what I really like about him. Like, he's like most SEO guys and most guys in general, like whether it's an HVAC guy or whether it's this guy or that guy, they'll make things sound so complicated. Jack will just break it down for you and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is what's look. And by the way, he's not got me on the first page on Google for my tow site, the first page on Google for my other site, and then I'm gonna give him a bunch more sites by the time he leaves here, and I think the story goes, we're going to be #1 again.
Okay. That's the plan. That's always been the plan.
Let's dive right into it. Jack, your business is Digital Uptrend. Can you tell me the story behind how you started this business? This is a new business, right?
Yes, it is. And thanks for that question. So basically, we incorporated back in 2019, October of 2019. When I say we, it was me and another individual. When I first kind of got into the business world and trying to start my kind of entrepreneurial journey or starting a business, basically, I started off trying to start a home security business.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was trying to start a home security business, and this is straight after university.
Right.
And
Where'd you go to school, by the way?
Villanova.
Villanova.
Yep.
And that is?
In the East Coast, by Philly in Pennsylvania.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So after that, at some point, I realized that I wanted to show up online when people typed in things like home security in Colorado Springs, which is where I'm from, and that's when I started realizing, oh, okay, well, how do I show up on Google? I can see that there's ads on here and things, and I started doing research, and then I searched up things on YouTube. Back in the day, there was a person named Alex Becker, who was in the SEO world, SourceWave. Shout out to him. He was a big inspiration for me getting started with SEO. But from there, I learned about SEO and kind of what it takes, and I got super interested in it. I love the idea of being able to work the algorithm and to understand kind of the other side of what it takes for the search engine results or the pages to show up depending on the query or how that was. And even back then, and this was like in 2015, 2016 now, and that was 5 years ago as of today, it was really different even 5 years ago and what things were like back then compared to now. And so it was really interesting kind of figuring out things and like little hacks that people did to suddenly just show up on the first page. You can't really do that as much these days.
So like what things were people doing back then that you can't do now?
Yeah, good question. So there's been a lot of algorithm updates throughout the years, but back then some of the things that you could do was a lot more like what we call spammy tactics. Basically, when you kind of stuffed keywords into your page, like let's say for example,
your source code?
It could be source code. It could be just straight up in the content. So like let's say that you wanted to rank for sell home in Las Vegas.
Right. Which we're working on.
Yeah. And so then one of the things that people would do with like maybe a 500 piece content is just throw in that word like 30 times.
Right.
And that worked.
Right.
Some of the other ways to do it were some spammy tactics where you could get a lot of spam backlinks and then just be able to rank it that way. I don't necessarily want to go into too much of the jargon of SEO, but basically there's some spammy like tools and automated things you could do to kind of game the system basically. And over the years, Google's algorithm has gotten better because obviously they don't necessarily want people to or bad actors to necessarily manipulate the algorithm. So things have changed, but back then it was kind of more of a wild, wild west. And it was fun. It was kind of exciting just knowing to do this. And then anyways, kind of to make a long story short, through that I ended up working at an agency for a number of years. And then I realized that there were certain things that were lacking in that business that I wanted to do in my own business. And I just wanted to get that rolling and ended up doing that. I left the business, and then my business partner was also working there, and he left after maybe a few more months. And then we decided to partner up, talked about our ideas, our philosophy, and kind of what we want to do with the new SEO business that we wanted to start, and then we agreed and got rolling.
The name of that business is Digital Uptrend. Mm-hmm. You have since parted ways with that partner.
Correct.
And so that's a big change, right? Like,
yeah.
But first of all, congratulations on taking that leap, because
thank you.
Getting into like out of that comfort zone is scary.
Yeah.
And then like things that happen and having employees and all these types of things and having to get workers' comp and payroll and this and that. It's like all this stuff that you didn't think about. Now you got to think about it.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt. There's a lot of things that goes into business that you don't even think about, but it's there.
What is your philosophy on approaching SEO to deliver results?
The general philosophy is
like let's break down QuickTo.
Okay.
That'll be a good example of like what's your philosophy with that? Like when you looked at that.
I think in terms of the philosophy of SEO, you have to understand that search engine optimization is a subset of internet marketing, and internet marketing is a subset of marketing. In order to be a good marketer and to be able to market whatever service or product that you're promoting, you have to understand that market, or you have to understand that product or service. And just like SEO, like I said, is an umbrella of marketing at the end of the day, you have to understand what it is that you're promoting, what the business is about, what drives the customer to move forward with the sale and things like that. So all of that is the philosophy behind the keyword research that we do to figure out what kind of keywords we need to target, what makes sense for us to go after, because it's not always the most searched keyword that necessarily will bring you the most money. Something that might make sense to the business owner you're like, oh, business owner goes, I hear this phrase being used by my customers a lot, so that probably is something that we want to go after. And that's not always the case, because you also have to tie into data and what the data says, along with understanding the business. And so my philosophy has always been with any business to just really dive into the business itself, understand what they have to offer. Now, towing tends to be a more simpler process in terms of like what people are looking for.
Right.
But we have clients that range from a person that does cryotherapy in a local spot to someone that cleans up crimes after crime scene, like crime scene cleanup. So it ranges, and we have people that sell products online and stuff like that. So I think the philosophy comes down to like what it is that they do, really understanding it, so you can break down what the customers are looking for, what they're searching, the customer journey that they're looking to find when they land on the page, and then kind of the guide that you can kind of guide them towards the action you're looking for them to take.
That's a great answer. And I just wanted to let everybody know, if you want to get to the first page on Google, you're going to need to get a hold of this guy. I mean, he's the real deal. Jack Kim, Digital Uptrend. Email him at info@digitaluptrend.com. He is the real deal. He's very modest. He is a solid dude. I wouldn't have him here with me. I flew him out here. He's a real guy, and it's somebody that you can learn from. Also, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like what Jack has to say, hit the like button, hit your notifications so that you can get more videos like this when they come out, because we're bringing people who are experts in their industry, and Jack is an expert in the SEO industry. What tools do you use? I know, like for me, you use this keyword ranking thing, and you would have all these little things that you were measuring things. So I know those are the tools. Can you break those down and like how you do things, what tools you use? Yeah,
absolutely. So right off the bat, if you're doing SEO, there's two suites that Google offers, which is the Google Search Console and Google Analytics, that you definitely want to make sure that your site is connected to, because it tells you your search appearance on Google. It tells you, with Search Console, it allows you to do certain things like submit the sitemap and disavow links if you really run into some spammy like black hat stuff. Or analytics, obviously, because it tells you data. You can track data, you can measure conversions if you need to. Some of the other tools that we use, these are industry standard in the SEO world, you'd be familiar if you were in it, are Ahrefs, ahrefs.com, which allows you to do like keyword research, allows to take a look at like the backlinks or referring domains, kind of what keywords a site's ranking for. So it's really helpful in that regard. And also SEMrush is another one that we use. Basically, it's another tool that's very similar to Ahrefs. They're competitors, but we use both of them. We use another tool called ProRank Tracker, and ProRank Tracker actually allows you to look at keywords and add them into like a list of for the keywords that you're looking to target for the domain. And basically it updates like every 6 hours or 12 hours, and it does that 24/7, 365. You can get a link, and that's what we do for all of our clients, where we send you a link. So that way it's not just like on our monthly report and you don't have any idea what's been happening. At any time you can kind of take a look at your rankings and see how things are moving over the months or days, things like that. Basically what he does is he gives you a spreadsheet. So he uses another tool called Basecamp, which is basically a way to organize his portfolio with all his people and his customers, so you as the customer can see in real time what they're doing, like the backlinks that they're doing. I don't think you broke that down. You want to talk about backlinks and how they work and content, because I know those are two tools that you really use more than anybody I've ever seen. I didn't even know it existed. Can you break those down as well? Yeah, absolutely. So they're not necessarily specific tools for that. Actually, technically for content, we use a tool called Surfer SEO as well. A lot of tools in this space, but it's called Surfer SEO, like you're surfing. Basically, it helps you analyze content and optimize it so that Google can recognize it as a quality piece of content. So like one of the things that we do, like you said, we provide content on a monthly basis for all of our clients and our websites, as well as doing outreach and getting backlinks for you. At the end of the day, as a search engine optimizer or a firm, we're trying to get our clients ranked on the first page for our target keywords, right? And so we know that doing these things move the needle and it gets our client sites ranking higher. So in terms of the content side, when you have, when you're posting content consistently, what it does is it shows Google that your website has a lot of information in that space. So if you have a competitor website that might have maybe 5 pages of content around that specific topic, and then you have your own website that has 20, 30, 50, 100 pages around that topic, Google can crawl through the pages on your website from your website compared to your competitor's website, recognize that your own website has more content around this space, and it's good quality content because, like I said, we go through Surfer SEO, we add the different entities and things like that that Google's looking for to recognize it as a quality piece of content. And they're good articles. I mean, all of our writers are great writers, but from there, it shows Google that your website is probably more authoritative, it probably has more quality content, and it's going to probably serve the query or the search term that you're searching into Google better than your competitor's website, so you should therefore deserve a higher spot than them. Because search engine, or with Google, it is a zero-sum game. Basically, for every one position you're moving up, you're replacing the previous person's position. So your site has to be better than their site because basically you're butting heads with them all day. And that might sound a little crude, but honestly, I kind of enjoy that competitive aspect of it because at the end of the day, it's who's the better SEO, right? Who's the person that's doing the work and getting it done and getting it ranked higher. And a lot of times when you're bringing someone on new, well, you're already 20 steps behind because they're already established, right? So you got to do something even better than they're doing right now to outrank them and outpace them in terms of the SEO profile. So I kind of enjoy that. But
that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, you got to get your competitive nature out somewhere, and I like the fact that you're going for number one because I'm about ready to, as I told you yesterday, to drop about 3 or 4 more websites before you leave town today that I'm going to have you work on. So before you get a hold of him, let me get a hold of him, right? All right. If I was to hire you versus someone else, what's the difference?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so going back to kind of like why we started this business overall, I kind of understood kind of how other SEO agencies kind of did it in general. And what I realized with us in our unique selling proposition, our USP, was to be able to tailor all of our campaigns around the client's needs and really dive into it. So one of the things we do is like we do an onboarding call and get to understand your business. We map everything out. We're a very transparent business, so we show you everything that we do under the hood, like Troy was saying, and we really try to avoid hiding anything where it's like, well, I don't know really what my SEO company has been doing for me, but I think they're getting results. It's like, no, we break it down. If you have any questions about it, we're more than happy to teach you and teach you some new stuff, because usually that always helps us as well, because then clients come up with ideas. They're like, hey, Jack, I was thinking about what you said the other day, and I was like, do you think if we did something like this, because we're in a publication, if I just emailed them to maybe like ask for a backlink to get linked back to our website, I'd be like, that's a great idea. I'm glad that you brought that up. If you need help with that, we've got our outreach specialist that can kind of email and do all that stuff too. So I think that's what makes us different. We're not like a big company in the sense like you just kind of are another number in the big wheel. So every client has a special touch point, and we always try to cater all of our work specifically around your campaign. I think that's very important. It makes all the difference. I
think so. I mean, I've witnessed that firsthand. I mean, I dealt with these guys out of Miami. We were just a number, and then they would also you build websites too, correct? Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that you can provide. If somebody wants a website built, you can build it for them. Mm-hmm. You can do their SEO. Mm-hmm. What else do you guys do?
We do consulting, so we've worked with a lot of businesses, so we know how to do that. We're kind of looking into paid advertising, but we're not offering that as a service currently because we know we can do SEO, but I'm not as 100% sure with paid advertising. So it's something that I'll help you with, but not necessarily provide as a service, at least currently. We are an SEO first website design company. So there's a lot of website companies out there that say they do SEO and things like that, but there's a difference between a company that really knows SEO and builds the site out from an SEO perspective and someone that just kind of says they can do SEO, but they're really just a website design company. So.
I know this is a big frustration for a lot of people, myself included. How long will it take to get results? And I mean, when I mean results, I mean to get on the first page.
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's definitely a question that we hear all the time. Like, I wish I could tell you, like, hey, it's going to take 3 months, and then everything's going to pop off and everything's going to be great. Unfortunately, that's not how Google's algorithm works. We are beholden to the search engine and the algorithm that is Google. And over time, what I've recognized as a general trend is that Google has been slower in moving listings around. So they want to try and keep, when you search something, generally more consistent if possible. So it's not like you search up, what's the biggest animal in the world, you get one list, and then like a week later you search that same phrase and you get a completely different list. They want to try and keep it more consistent. It's something that I've noticed as a general trend that their engineers are trying to achieve. But part of the variance in terms of time, I would say for like a site that's pretty established, if there's some optimizations that need to be done, you can get it ranked within like 4 to 6 months. If it's a brand new website, it could take 8 to 12 months. If it's, honestly, it could range from like 3 months or within a month. Like, let's say you were penalized because there was an update that came out and there was just some on-page optimizations that you had to fix. Well, that could just be accomplished within a month, and you might be, on your way to being on the first page just by doing that. But and it also depends on like the keywords, because if you're someone that's trying to go after like a local space, that might be easier to rank for generally than someone that's trying to target a national audience where there's just you're butting heads against anyone that's in the US, not just like in your local city or suburb or area. And so there's a lot of variances, and that's why I try to be as honest and transparent as possible in my answers. And so I can't just be like, hey, in 3 months you're gonna get on the first page, because it really depends on the situation. And I think that's the most honest and truthful answer to that.
Let me ask you another question. What's it cost? I mean, like if you're gonna do SEO, you've got a couple things that we've talked about before. You can start bumping up by doing pay-per-click, right? Which is always going to be based on how much it's getting searched is going to be how much it's supply and demand.
Yeah.
Like if it's being more searched, you're going to have to pay more money, right? If it's a high-ticket item like real estate, those things are up there. If it's like whatever it is, if people are selling it, they're making money, Google's going to charge a big chunk out of it. Yeah. But what's it cost? Like, how do you charge your customers?
Yeah, it's based on the competition. Okay. So if it's more competitive, like if you're a lawyer trying to target, like personal injury lawyer in Las Vegas.
Right. Big competition there.
Big competition, right? So that's just going to cost more because it takes more to get ranked. So as opposed to maybe one backlink or one mention from another website, you might need 10. Well, that takes time and resources to reach out to these publications, to write articles and things like that would encourage them and get them to link back to you. If it's like, like every single one, if I were to say, like, for example, like that Las Vegas personal injury attorney, every single one of those people on the first page, I can almost guarantee you have an SEO company that they're working with.
Right.
Right. And so they're allocating a certain amount of budget to their SEO company to get them ranked higher. And so you that comes in have to be able to outdo them. Well, that means that you're going to have to do something super clever, or you're just going to have to basically outman them. And so in terms of cost, I mean, typically you can see anywhere from as little as $500 a month is what I've seen for something legit. I mean, you might get stuff from like people from different countries that might be offering a lot less, but the delivery just isn't going to be there. But from anywhere $500 to over $5,000 a month, so it varies.
Right, you can get guys spending $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month if they got the right
Easy.
product, and if they're doing personal injury and their average caseload is $20,000 and you got them in Las Vegas and you're number one, they're going to spend big money with you because they want to be number one, and they know that number one's going to produce a lot of results. Yeah. And I mean, especially on real estate, you're competing with guys like Zillow.com, Realtor.com, all that. So make sure just while you're doing this, while you're watching this video, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit our notification button, and then if you have any questions that you want Jack to answer, comment below and we'll get him back on here. If you're a YouTube personality like myself and you're trying to build a following, what are the most important steps in SEO that you can take in order to do that?
That's a good question, especially for you. So I would say, from an SEO perspective, just like there's a click-through rate in Google search engine, there's click-through rates in YouTube. And YouTube is owned by Google and stuff, and so they use similar attributes in their algorithm to determine rankings. And one of those is the number of times that people click on it based on the search. So that's why you have things like clickbait titles on YouTube where people try and like throw these big numbers and things like that. And as much as I hate to say it, it does work. So in a sense, like for example, if you're doing an interview and you know, they're doing like big numbers and things like that.
Right.
Rather than saying an interview with Ryan blah 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 and how he got started, the title could be something like how Ryan was able to go from $0 to, you know, selling a $3 million property or something like that.
Right.
That will really get interest and get people to actually click through. Yeah. And so, I mean, there is some really bad clickbaity things you could do that's like you still want to serve the video. Like if you say that, like it better be about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't just be completely fake and things like that.
Clickbait, but have actually some bait there.
Yeah, exactly. Actually have some bait there. And then also the thumbnails are important. So if you are really not inclined to do that, I would highly recommend that you find someone that can help you with those thumbnails and making it look really nice.
Like the expressions are important, right?
Expressions
we did one of these the other day. We're like, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Because that's what the person sees before they click on your video is the thumbnail. It's right.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the other quick tips I could say is like try and take a look at your competitors and see which videos that, because what you'll notice with, especially with a lot of content creators that are starting out, they'll have some videos that are real big hit, and then some videos that get barely any searches. So you want to take a look at the ones that have a lot of searches. There's ways to make sure that you know it's not like it's because they ran advertising for that specific video, but and try and emulate the ones that are doing well. So those things are good. Short form content I think is good. I think long form content like what you're doing right now is good for building your brand. Right. Short term is for trying to get new users to view your content quickly. I think if you have like some kind of epitome scraper content like just like in Google, where you have like this big course or free thing that you go like, for example, for you, something that might be really good, be like how to flip a house from scratch day one or something like that. Something might be crazy where like, and then you go through all the days and then you're like, so this, and then it's like a series, you create a playlist around it, and then you can get that playlist to rank on the keywords and things like that, and people can share, and it's a good angle. Thank
you for coming in. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to help everybody like understand what SEO is. It's super complicated. I consider myself a somewhat intelligent guy, but when you get into SEO, it's definitely if you're not in it and you don't play in that space, it's very intimidating. Like when you were, the one thing I would really want to tell you about Jack, and this is just probably the most important. Number one, he's a nice guy, and that's a detriment sometimes, but if he works with wrong people. But for me, it was great because I happen to be a nice guy too, and working with him, we worked well together. We had some issues, we worked them out, and we've continued to grow. And Jack cares. So, and he owns the business. It's his first business, so he really cares about like doing a good job. So if you want to work with Jack, you need to email him at info@digitaluptrend.com, or we can get a hold of you on your phone number. You want to put that out there too?
Sure. It's 719-249-7470.
So you're based out of Denver, Colorado. You just moved out there. You're doing business everywhere. You'll do business. It doesn't matter where they're at, right? Can you do it in the U.S., all U.S., international?
We don't do international right now.
Okay.
Just U.S. But anywhere in the U.S., we can absolutely help you.
Great. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate having you, and look forward to having you back.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Like I told you before, I'm always going to bring the expert into the room, whether it's HVAC or whether it's SEO. I'm always going to deliver the person that's going to help me get to where I got, and then that's going to help you. Jack has helped me rank #1 on several different websites, so that now can help you. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification button if you like to learn from smart guys like Jack Kim.